Hello, Derrick the Banana here. As you can see, I'm wearing this mask because of the coronavirus. And that's why I want to read this book. Curious George Goes to the Hospital by Margaret H.A. Rice. So it says in the bottom, a collaboration with a medical hospital in Boston. Although George didn't get the virus, so that's not why he went to the hospital. He went to the hospital because he swallowed a puzzle piece. Let me show you how it happened when I read this. This is George. He lived with his friend, the man with the yellow hat. He was a good little monkey, but he was always curious. Today, George was curious about the big box on the man's desk. What could be in it? George could not resist. He simply had to open it. It was full of funny little pieces of all sorts of shapes and all sorts of colors. George took one out. It looked like a piece of candy. Maybe it was candy. Maybe you could eat it. George put the piece in his mouth, and before he knew, he had swallowed it. A while later, the man with the yellow hat came home. "Why, George," he said, "I see you have already opened the box of the jigsaw puzzle. It's supposed to be a surprise for you. Let's go to work on it." Finally, the puzzle was finished. Well, almost finished. One piece was missing. The man looked for it everywhere, but he could not find it. "That's strange," he said. "It's a brand new puzzle, but it cannot be helped. Maybe I'll find in the morning. Let's go to bed now, George." The next morning, George did not feel well. He had a tummy ache and did not want to eat his breakfast. The man was worried. He went to the telephone and called Dr. Baker. "I'll go to see you again," said the doctor. First, Dr. Baker let down George's throat and felt his tummy. Then he took out his stethoscope and listened. "I'm not sure what's wrong," he said. "You better take George to the hospital and have an x-ray taken. We'll call them and let them know you're coming." "Don't worry, George," said the man when they were driving to the hospital. "You have been there before when you broke your leg. Remember how nice the doctors and nurses were?" George held his big rubber ball tight as they walked up the hospital steps. A nurse took them down a long hallway to a room, but she gave George something to drink. Why it didn't taste sweet. "It is called barium," the nurse explained. "It helps the doctors find out what is wrong with you, George." In the next room stood a big table, and the doctor was just putting on a heavy apron. They gave the man one just like it. George was curious. Would he get one too? No, he did not. "You get on that table, George," the doctor said. "I'm going to take some x-ray pictures of your insides." He pushed the button and there was a funny noise. "There, now you may get up, and we'll have the x-ray developed right away." "Now let's see, there's something that there should not be," said the doctor when they were looking at the x-rays. "Well, that looks like, I think that must be the piece that was not jigsaw puzzle yesterday," said the man. Well, said the doctor. We know now what is wrong with our little patient. I'll tell Dr. Baker right away. George had to stay in the hospital for a few days. They would put it down his throat to get the piece out. It's only a small operation. Call a nurse and have her take you down to the admitting office." Many people were waiting outside the office. George had to wait too. "Look, Bessie," the woman next to him said to the little girl. "There's Curious George." Betsy looked up for a moment, but did not even smile. Betsy had never been to a hospital before. She was scared. Finally, it was George's turn. A pretty young nurse took him to the next room. My, how many rooms and how many nurses there were. One nurse wrote down a lot of things about George. His name, his address, and what was wrong with him. Another nurse put a bracelet on his wrist. "And it's your name on it, George," she said, "so that everybody knows who you are." Then the pretty young nurse came back. "My name is Carol," she said. "I'm going to take you to your room now. We call it the children's ward. We'll put you to bed. There are lots of children to keep you company." And so it was. There were a lot of children in the room. Some were up and around. Others were in their beds, with a doctor or a nurse looking after them. Dave was having a blood transfusion. Steve had his leg bandaged and was sitting in a go-kart. Betsy was in bed looking sad. George got the bed next to Bessie. George was glad when he was in his bed at last. His tummy was hurting again. The man sat with him for a while. "I have to leave you, George," he finally said. "I'll be back first thing in the morning before they take you to the operating room. Nurse Carol will take you when it's time to sleep." Then he left. George just sat there and cried. As he had promised, the man was back early the next morning. The nurses were keeping George very busy. One nurse was taking his temperature. One was taking his blood pressure. One was giving him a pill to make you sleepy, George, she said. And one was getting ready to give him a shot. "It's going to hurt, George," she said, "but only for a moment." She took his arm and George let out a scream. "Well, the needle hasn't touched you yet," said the nurse, laughing. "Now it's done. That wasn't so bad, was it?" "No, it really was not. And anyway, it was over now." By the time the attendant came with the stretcher to wheel him to the operating room, George was getting sleepy. He tried hard to stay awake. He was scared to see what would happen next. You see a big table with bright lamps over it, and doctors and nurses all around. They had caps on their heads and masks over their faces. Only their eyes were showing. One of the doctors winked at George and patted his head. It was Dr. Baker, who had been to the house when all had started. He looked funny with his mask on, and then George was fast asleep. When George woke up, he did not know what had happened. He didn't even know where he was. "Hey, saw Miss Carol. It's all done, George," she said. "They got the piece out. In a day or two, you'll be running around again." The man had brought him a picture book, but George felt sick and dizzy. His throat was hurting, too. He was not even caring about the new book. He closed his eyes again. "Well, let him sleep," said Nurse Carol. "The more he sleeps, the better." The next morning, George felt better. He even ate a dish of ice cream. Dr. Baker came to see him, and the man, of course, came too. Betsy was watching him from time to time. She seemed a little less sad, but she still did not smile. Steve wheeled his go-kart over to George's bed. "Tomorrow I can get up and try to walk," he said. "Why, I can hardly wait." "I'll take you to the playroom now, George," Nurse Carol said the next morning. "And in the afternoon, your friend will come and take you home." The playroom was full of children. A lady was showing Betsy how to use finger paints. There were all sorts of things to play with, even a puppet feeder. But that was just the thing for George. He had 4 hands so he could handle 4 puppets at the same time. George had a real puppet show with a dragon, and a clown, and a bear, and a policeman. The children laughed and shouted. Even Betty, for the first time, smiled a little. There was a TV set in the playroom, and also a record player. George was curious, and he could climb the record player and turn the switch. Would it go round and around like a real merry-go-round? It did. It started slowly, and then it was faster and faster. Whoopee! George had lost his balance and was sailing through the air. Luckily, George had laid on a soft cushion. The children jeered, and Betsy smiled again. George was so funny. But then the play lady picked up George. "That's nothing else," she said. "We're taking that before lunch. But every day ahead of us, the mayor's coming to visit the hospital today, and later on, he'll be going home, George." When George woke up, Steve was just taking his first step. A nurse was helping him, and the children were watching. The go-kart was standing there empty. George was curious. He looked at it, then he climbed into it. Then he grabbed the wheels, and then, while nobody was looking, he wheeled the go-kart right out of the room. George could make the go-kart very fast. This was fun. Down the hall he went. But now the nurse had noticed that he was gone and came right after him. "George! George!" she shouted. But George was too excited to listen. He wheeled around the corner and down right to the floor below, where some men were busy pushing lunch carts and law doctors. The nurse was showing the mayor around. George tried to stop, but it was too late. Wham! The go-kart landed right in the middle of everything. Lunch carts tumbled. Spinach and scrambled eggs and strawberry jam were all over the floor. People fell over, hurt each other, and George was thrown out of the go-kart and landed right in the mayor's arms. What a mess it was. "You broke all my dishes," someone cried. "He ruined the go-kart," complained another. "Well, the mayor fingered it," whispered someone else, and silent. Suddenly, everybody looked up and listened. From above came happy laughter. But there stood Betsy, laughing, laughing, laughing. Then the children joined in. Then the mayor started laughing, and finally everybody just laughed and laughed. Everyone else except George. Betsy came running down the ramp for her arms around George and kissed him. Don't be sad, George, she said. The whole thing was so funny. I'm not allowed so much of my life. I'm so glad you were in the hospital with me. Now the director of the hospital spoke. I'm sorry this happened, Mr. Mayor, he said. But we will just clean up the mess and be done with it. George, he went on, you made a terrible mess, but you also made our sad little Betsy happy. Again, and that is more than any of us had done. And now I see your friend has just come to take you home, so goodbye, George, and take care of yourself. The children are crowded on the windows, waving goodbye. When George and the man with the yellow hat were finally leaving the hospital. As the car was turning the driveway, Nurse Carol came running after them. Here's a little package with something that belongs to you, George, she thought, but don't open it before you are home. George was curious. Well, it would not be at the moment he reached home. He read the paper up. Tore open what was in there was the piece of the puzzle that caused all the trouble. Well, nice of a doctor to save for us, said the man with the yellow hat. Now we can finish the puzzle. The end. Stay safe and be well. Don't go bananas.